have Romy with us, and Romy is in Prosper, Texas, and she has Beauty is Health. And isn't that exactly the truth, right, Romy? Beauty
That's
is
right.
health. Um, Nice to see you. Nice to talk to you. How are you?
Good. How are you, Alicia?
I'm excellent. So, I wanted to talk to you about your journey and sort of where have you come from, and not like where have you come from, but where have you come from, like your loving yourself journey. Your son has diabetes. You've had quite an experience through your, the past. How many years, how long has this been going on for you? Tell me your story.
Thank you. So my son, since he was like 9 months old when he got one of the shots, and after that it was just sick. It was really asthma. It was really bad, but it was, like he would be okay, and then he would be hospital. And it was from 9 months old till 2 when I realized that, it was all these medications and being in the hospital. And then one day I just saw him and I was like, I can't be doing this to this baby, right? So that's when I just took all the medicines they had, started reading and really going into what all those things that I was putting in my son's body and how they were affecting him and how they would affect him in the future, right? So I went in one night, just started reading about everything, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. So I started searching for answers, and the universe just really sends you everything. And I just started getting people that were from everywhere. Just like, I think it's like Dr. Wolf says, you change your mind, and really everything just starts coming in to you. And I started just reading and meeting people that started guiding me. And my brother was a homeopathic doctor at that time. He's no longer practicing, but he helped me, and just started doing the changing in food and all of that. And finally, he started getting better. It took me years, and I started studying integrative nutrition. I studied homeopathy. I just started trying to figure out how was the best way to get him better and get us as a family better. So
Well, you had to that point, you had just listened to what they told you. They told you you needed to do this, and the medical system told you you needed to do that. And I think as a new mom, you you just believe them, because I remember being a new mom and I didn't know, I just was like, well, what do I do next? I didn't think that I had it within me. I didn't think that I knew intuitively what I needed to do. I trusted everything on the outside, and it turns out that was definitely not right. That was not the way for that to happen. And so you felt that, you saw that physically, you saw that change, and you went in and explored for yourself.
that's right. That's right. Something just clicked, and I was like, I cannot be doing this. And like you said, it was just listening, you trusting, and
Yeah.
you're putting all your trust in somebody that really is not helping you. And they don't. Sometimes they don't know it, but that's when I was like, I can't. This is my son, and I have to. He's my baby, and I can't. I have to do that. So that's when I started doing all that. And fast forward a few years, and I just saw Dr. Wolf one day, and I just really loved what he was saying and how he made it sound so logical and so much more easier than the way they talk to you with all these big names. And I love that, and I just started kind of following, but was still studying and trying to get my family to a better place. So finally, he is now 16 years old, and by changing foods and all of that. As I started going through this journey further and further, and listening more to Dr. Wolf, then I was like, okay, it really isn't. It is the food, which is a huge part of, doing that, but there's something else, and it didn't click how your what you're thinking and all of the that creates your reality, right? And it took me a longer time to get there, and but trying to research and find out and studying and seeing the reaction, what would happen if I did this with my kids and talk to them like this, and so that's how I just finally was able to connect more with Dr. Wolf's teachings. And it was in 2020 when I really started watching him every day, and then I was like, okay, wait, this is what, okay, now I get it. Now I get it.
What
And
did you get? What did you
well,
get?
I start, the physical, how it creates the emotional and all that, the parts, the components, that it's not only one thing. It's your, what you eat, what you think, what you drink, how your emotions are, and started really tying them in the way, my reactions, when I was with my kids, and all of that, how it all tied together to be, you know, the success to his health and our health as a family,
So do
right?
you think that the way that so what you've learned and sort of the like you just mentioned how you spoke to him and how you related to him and probably your husband, your family. And where did that come from? Because you can't just be, this shell of pretend, right? That has to come from somewhere else. And what changed? Did something change inside of you? And how did that change?
Yes. So I think, it was by really listening to, you know and trying to, in my mind, listening, but not only listening, but really looking, and looking around and seeing, okay, if this is happening like this, what if I add more of a, the loving and the taking caring, the calmness with the, emotions, when, with a person you're with. And that's what I started doing more. And when really, when I saw Dr. Wolf talking about, how, everything around us can be one thing, but if we really just focus on, okay, where, I can't find the love and the everything, all the answers out there, but they have to come from within.
You
And
can't find them outside.
that's right. And that when I realized that, that's when I was like, okay, this is where it is. And then I signed up for Dr. Wolf's course, and then from there it was just amazing, because then by, that's where, I really learned by doing the BraveHeart oath that Dr. Wolf has. That's when it really clicked into, okay, the love. I really never have loved myself. I've been trying to give, my family, my son that was sick, my trying to fix all that, and I forgot about myself, and I didn't really realize that until that, doing the BraveHeart oath with, Dr. Wolf in his in his class. And I was like, oh my God, how do I shine that love out? How do I show them by that I love them, not by always doing things for them and trying to fix them, but by doing it for me. And
I
that's
think
when.
it's like it sounds like the when you get on the airplane, and they say put your oxygen mask on first.
That's right.
Because without that oxygen, without that love, internal, um, your self-love, which well, without the self-love, you can't help anybody else. But I've always, whenever I think of this self-love, I wonder, like, what is that? What is that self-love? What does that mean? What does that mean to you? What does self-love mean to you?
Self-love to me means, putting yourself first, even though a lot, they make us feel like, guilty if you do that. But when you really start saying, okay, I've got to take care of me, what I'm eating. Now it's not about feeding everybody else, but I know that if I eat right, because now I have teenagers, right? So they're all teenagers, and they're not those little kids that I could feed and I wanted to protect. Now it's like, they don't care. They don't want me to go and give them what I want to give them. So, that really was what you're saying right now. You're right, Alicia. When I realized, like, okay, they're not babies anymore, and I can't just give them what I want. Then how do I do that? Show them, but and that's when I realized, okay, it's me who I have to fix. My food, whatever. What I was trying to preach and tell my family and the people around me by doing it. And you know what? That when I started doing that was when and I'm still in the process. It's a
I think we're
process.
all in the process, right? We're all and don't use that process, but we're all learning. We're
That's
all practicing. We're
practicing.
all working on the what does that feel like? Well, that doesn't feel quite right. Okay, that wasn't quite right. Let's set that aside. Okay, what does this feel like? What happens when I do my mirror work? What happens when I repeat the BraveHeart oath? What happens when I eat a hamburger or, like a fast food? Oh, no, bad things happen.
Right.
And maybe bad things happen physically, but they also happen emotionally and mentally,
That's right. That's right.
right?
And so by doing that, and then last year, and before we had our course, the first course here in September, I was still I didn't realize how much I was holding on to because of the stress of all that situation with my son and all that time. That I had a problem with a tooth. I cracked a tooth by eating a granola, and then and that it just got really painful. I really don't go to the doctor. I just don't.
Yeah.
And it was kind of scary, and went to the doctor. They gave me medication which I don't like to take, but that time I was like, everybody's like, it's your mouth and it's so dangerous, blah, blah, blah. And I did it again. I fell back into that, and then it took about 3 weeks, and then I was still medicated. They weren't doing anything, and then all of a sudden I found my mouth, my face just this big, and ended up at the hospital and it was just really a severe case. I had an infection in my bones, an infection in blood, and
All from a cracked tooth.
yes,
And then the medication they gave you did nothing.
nothing.
Wow.
Nothing.
Except
So
something else that we don't know what it did.
exactly.
Right? Yeah.
So ended up at the hospital, surgery, because it was really bad, and so that night they said, you know what, you're just not doing good. You're going to have to go to ICU, and then
Oh my goodness.
and then Dr. Wolf called my husband, and he sent us some thundershrooms, and
Okay.
he sent us the Merigen and Sinonian minerals.
Yeah.
Then I just that night I could barely open my mouth. My husband brought them. I started taking them. I remember it was at 5 o'clock that night. They said, if by tonight you're not doing good, we're going to take you. And did them at 5, did them at 9 o'clock at night, and then they started watching me, and I started just getting better. By 6 o'clock in the morning, they're like, "This is amazing. You're just turning around." And the next day, the doctor came in about noon and said, "You can go. You're doing amazing. I don't know how or why or how."
So that was the Merigen, that was the Thunder Shrooms, probably Critical Care, and what was the other one?
And Sinonian
The
minerals.
Sinonian minerals. Did you rinse your mouth with iodine or with silver solution?
I didn't, because I was just not doing good. I couldn't stand up. It was just a bad situation. So I couldn't even barely open my mouth. So my husband would try to put, the thunder shrooms and push them in my mouth and just bringing me green juices. And by that, the next morning, the doctor's like, you need to go. It was Wednesday. And finally they didn't want to let me go out, and I was doing better and better. And then of course they started scaring me and saying, you're just not doing good. You need a stent in your heart. And they wanted to
What?
yes, just for that. They said you needed about 6 to 7 months, so you can, if not, you're not going to make it. And
Oh my goodness.
it was very scary. But I was like, I wasn't. Well, it was scary because the fear they put in you and your family, right?
Yeah.
And my husband's like, no, we can't go. You got to do it. I'm like, I am not going to let him touch me anymore. I'm done. And
Oh, I just got shivers. Wow.
it was, and so by that Friday, I said, I'm not doing anything, and they just started, you know, you can't leave, blah, blah, blah. And we finally decided to leave the next morning. Saturday morning, we left. We signed something, we left, and never took medication again. Kept doing my nutraceuticals, which are all amazing. And just that also, of course, that's when I was like, okay, this will never happen again, because I realized that it was so much of, me putting myself last, but also, all the physical blockages we keep. And that's when I realized that everything was right here. I always keep, and I never even thought about it.
Clenching your jaw and
Yes.
just holding your mouth,
Yes.
keeping yourself silent.
Yes. And that's, it was right there. And Dr. Wolf said, I know what happened, but you also was created that because of your emotions, and you never got rid of those, and you have not worked on you. And he came
Did he do any non-surgical on
he
your?
did so that Saturday night, it turned out he came here,
Yeah.
and they got here that night, the night I got here from the hospital. And I was all sad, and and then he's like, we're going out to dinner tonight. And I'm like, no, we're not. We can't go out to dinner. And my mouth was still like that. I had the stitch, I had, the tubes coming out.
Training.
And he's
Wow.
like, no, we're going out to dinner. And he started working with non-surgical on my jaw and all this, my cheek, about 20 minutes. And then, my husband was sitting down. Of course, I was like, and he's like, watch, look at this, Mike. And when I turned around, it was 70% down, Alicia. It was amazing. And then he's like, let's go to dinner. And I went out and I ate. I hadn't eaten it in a month.
Wow.
And I started eating, and never took medication again. And then I did another course, and just from there on, my life has really, really changed.
Wow. That's quite a story.
Yes.
Did you continue to take Dentagen after that?
I'm still doing Merigen, and that's
Okay.
just overall for everything. I think it's amazing. My bones, my family, my mom's side, which I don't, I believe in epigenetics, and but they all have RA, and so I had never really taken care of me, like I said. So I'm still doing the Merigen.
Yep.
It's helped me so much in so many ways. My hands, because I was starting to feel problems with my bones and my hands and all that,
Mhm.
because of my mom's genetics, I guess, whatever, which are not. And so I've been doing that. I'm still doing the not the critical care. I'm doing the vital care for the
Vital care.
nutrients. Yes, which I love those too. I do my structured water every morning with my tea.
We should do
Um,
structured water every day, all the time.
every day, all the time. And
Yeah.
then my black gold,
Yeah.
and my smoothies, and I do my black diamond, which I love. Black diamond is just an
Mhm.
amazing nutraceutical in so many ways. It has
Yeah,
helped
we
me.
use it in every single liter of our water. Like we drink these, right? And
Yes,
so, three of least of those of warm structured water with the black diamond in there. And I mean, it's such high vibrational. Dr. Wolf was talking the other day about how vibrational it can be, and that, all the bad guys inside will be trying to escape at the same time. So sometimes people have sort of like a reaction
yeah,
to how high vibrational it is. And that's the key then, is to just sort of ease off a little bit, right? Just maybe not in every bottle, but then you take it, a couple times a day, sort of a thing, versus all day long.
yeah.
But wow, Romy, that is quite a story.
It's
I didn't realize that you had this experience.
Yes, it was quite an experience. But you know what? Like always, you always learn so much from things like that. And after that, I told Dr. Wolf, I'm like, oh gosh, we had this course, and he's like, you know what? I didn't come here for the course. The course was here because I was supposed to be here for what happened with you, and it was. And after a week, I was in the course. I was happy, and it was amazing. So I'm so thankful for that. I really am.
That's amazing. So you have, I think, Dr. Sage Wolf is coming to you
Yes.
on May 2nd. Is
That's
that
right.
correct?
He
And
will
where are you? You're in Prosper, Texas?
Prosper, Texas. It's north of Dallas, Fort Worth area. So if you
Okay.
guys want to come, he will be here doing a free lecture. So it'd be amazing to get all to meet him, and just be able to learn from him, which he's an amazing, amazing.
Yeah. So I believe we can go to braveheartnation.com if you guys want to look up any of the free lectures that are going on, and the world tour. Dr. Wolf and Dr. Sage Wolf, and the pelvic restorative pelvic course will be in Barrie, Ontario, and they'll be in Chicago, and there'll be the lectures, like you said, in Texas
Mhm.
and Australia. So braveheartnation.com is where you're going to find all of that information. And then, Romy, I think we're going to speak to you in a day or so, and we're going to talk about your Cellsonic, your new little toy that you've got behind you.
I love it.
Yeah, we won't go too much into it now, but it's did you use it? Have you used it
I
on
did. I did actually, after that, and that incident. I used it 2 times for that, and with the first time, just few 300 pulses. It just it healed, because I had a big, stitches inside and out, and the bones, and it was amazing healing too with my nutraceuticals and non-surgical, and with Cellsonic. It's just been amazing. I have no problems. I have no pain, no nothing after using all this. So you guys need to really listen about Cellsonic and with non-surgical done together, to be able to take the physical blockages away, and the energy that you get, the healing energy you get from Cellsonic is amazing.
It's amazing.
Yes.
Fabulous. Romy, do you have anything else that we haven't mentioned that we should talk about? Is there anything you want to say?
Well, I just want to say, make sure you join us when with Dr. Sage Wolf.
It's life-changing, isn't it?
It is. It's life-changing. It
Like,
really
we sound like, we're with the band sort of a thing, and you can go on and on about it, but it's not anything that you have experienced before. And people, they think they come to the courses, or sorry, let me back that up. They see online, they see, videos, lives, that sort of a thing. But wow, in person, if you can get yourself to a lecture, if you can get yourself to the courses, whether it be the whole life coach, the emotional, the Wolf non-surgical, the pelvic, when you're there, it is truly life-changing. Like, I feel silly saying this.
Yes.
But it really is.
It really, I agree. That's what I tell, because they're like, well, sometimes I see him every day on Facebook. I'm like, no, you have to be there. You have to. The course there's nothing I've ever seen like it. I've done courses and other things, and nothing. Those 9 days with Dr. Daryl, and then the Wolf non-surgical with Dr. Sage, I can, like you said, I can talk all day about it and never get tired, and just get more excited of how much healing, and how much really it is healing from your emotions to your physical blockages. And there's nothing like it. Really, there is not. So make sure you go into docofdetox.com and just follow
DOD.health. Yeah.
Right.
Get your coconut cracked.
That's right.
And the library. You can go into the library. So, like everything that we've talked about right here, if you have other questions, if you're like, well, you have something else that you're curious about, if you go into DACA Detox /library, there is a ton of information. BraveHeartNation.com. Go to library. There is a ton of information there, and it's all free.
That's right. That's right. Well, that's amazing. So you guys need to go in and read and try to understand, and then go to the courses. And also, if there's anything you need in Texas, we're here with the Cellsonic, and to do Wolf non-surgical treatments and consultations. And
I was going to say, are you doing consultations? Because that's where people need. That's where you start. You start by getting a consultation, and you get 6 weeks of like one-on-one with your practitioner, and then after that, you have unlimited use to call. To call in and ask questions and that sort of a thing. So you do consultations as well?
I do consultations, and I do Wolf non-surgical treatments and Cellsonic. So anybody that wants to come and contact me at 214-549-3721, and we'd love to help you here.
I love it. Romy, thank you so much. I love speaking with you. I can't wait to meet you in person. I know we'll do that sometime soon.
I know. We will soon. And thank you for everything, Alicia. You're awesome.
All right, my dear. Okay, but until then, 3, 2, 1.
You got this.
You got this.